All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our Monday night call or Monday afternoon, depending where you're dialing in from around the world. We're going to kick off today on this Monday talking about the most important thing that you can do for your body is give it what it needs. Okay, really important, and more importantly, how easy it is to give your cells hydration that it craves for. So as you can see, guys, on my screen, you're going to see two things. You're going to see a company called Timol, and you're going to see where it says an opportunity of a lifetime has arrived. And as I say every single week, it is definitely a product of a lifetime that has arrived, because this has made a massive change to my health and my well-being, and I'm sure the people that are on this call will testify in the same manner. So we're going to spend about an hour or so going through this information tonight. It's a Monday. I like to say Money Mondays. So we're going to be talking about the other aspect to our business, which is how you can be generating an income to go alongside your new leash of well-being, your new health. Because no point in living to 100 years old and you're broke as a church mouse. No, we don't want that. We want you to have the income to enjoy, just as you see on the image there, to fly where you want to go, to drive what you want to drive, to do whatever you want with your children, your grandchildren, and all the good things that this world has to offer you. So let's cut into the information we're talking about tonight. Our 21st century lifestyle, our foods, the things that are going around us. Every single day we wake up, there's more and more challenges around health. Was actually just met somebody yesterday. I went into a McDonald's for meetings, so don't judge me. I did have a drink though, and didn't have none of their burgers and fries. But typically, I now and then I divulge, my friends, I divulge into stuff like this. And having something like this now and then may not be the worst thing to do in life. But if you're constantly giving your body this acidic foods, the ice creams and the French fries and stuff, it's going to build up into your body, especially these carbonated drinks that you get. And so even on the other flip side, you may be somebody who doesn't even go to these fast food places and frequent them, but you're after your green. You go and get your greens, you get your kale, you get your spinach, your all of that good stuff, right? You go to the supermarket, but it's been sprayed to death. I mean, pesticides and all sorts of stuff. The soil is depleted of the nutrients that used to be there at default. And so unfortunately, a lot of the time the food is bankrupt. There's nothing of nutritional value to write home about. Now, ideally, we want to get all these good stuff on our plate. These are full of antioxidants. And we're going to be talking about free radicals and things of that nature, and what happens when too much of that is running around rampant in your body and you cannot see it with a human eye. No. But your blood, your cells, they're getting affected by the things you cannot see. So ideally, we want to get all the good fruit, veg, multiple different colors on our plate as much as we can to at least offset some of the other things. Life's all about balance, my friends. Yeah. So, but having a good, stable diet, of course, is going to help you live a better, more balanced life. So let's talk about that. 100 years ago, I know none of you was around then, over 100 years ago, but this gentleman was, and he wrote a thesis on the primary cause and prevention of cancer. Why is this information relevant in 2026? Why are we talking about that in 2026, my friends? The reason why is because it's still the number one. And I don't know back in 1931 what the numbers were like, but I do know in 2026, the number one and number two killers are around cancer and around heart disease. And that is something that we can do something about before we get any diagnosis of sorts taking place. We can do as much as we can before any diagnosis takes place. And why I say that is because of this information. This information that unfortunately some of my loved ones have passed away from. And we have something that can help people obviously make better choices. And even if things happened outside of their remit, how they can help themselves going forward. And this is why, for me, this is one of the most important Zooms I do every week, because we're talking about your livelihood, my friends. So acidity, why is it such a big deal? Well, in his work Otto Heinrich Warburg demonstrated that all forms of cancer develop due to two basic conditions: acidity of the blood and lack of oxygen. So one of these two is the primary cause, and we're going to be tackling that today on the call. We're here to share some information with you. Take that information, run with it, research it, do whatever you want with it, but we're here to present information with you to you. And some of the people on this call tonight, they've gone through some of these challenges and they've come out the other side, thank God. And so we're here tonight to not just talk theory, we're talking real life here. So as it says here, acidosis, acidity of the blood, and hypoxia, lack of oxygen. Cancerous tissues are acidic tissues and healthy ones are alkaline tissues. So how can we get our body in more of an alkaline state if a lot of us, may have more acids in our bloodstream that we would hope for? So we're going to dive deep into that tonight, guys. So the effects of free radicals is this. You see on the left, you want your cells to be healthy. You don't want them to be in a state on the right hand side where they are being attacked. So free radicals, what is it? It's an isolated oxygen atom. Too much of that becomes harmful to your body. Get that into your bloodstream and we have as they say, Houston, we have a problem. Okay? And we don't want to be in that situation where we are now having to deal with the problem. We ideally like to be in front of the problem. Preventative is better than cure. Okay, I don't know about you, but growing up, I was always told like an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, I'm sure we need more like 10 apples to even get close to the levels of me growing up in the 70s, where some of the things that are, challenging us in my modern day lifestyle wasn't so much there. There's way more things that are attacking us on a day-to-day basis, and I'm sure you will agree with me. Now, what happens when there's too much free radicals, I hear you ask? You don't want to end up in the situation on the right. So if you're a certain age and you haven't met somebody in a long while and they see you and they look back and they're like, in their head they're thinking, you look way older than we mean you went to school at the same time. What happened? And it could be the fact that too much free radicals is running around your body, is giving you this unfortunate things that you don't want. Premature aging for sure. And you want to be more, youthful looking. Who wants to be older than their time? Nobody does, right? Nobody volunteers to that. But this is what happens when you have too many free radicals running around your body, my friends. This is the primary cause we're talking about. So how can we reduce the acidity and free radicals in our body? We're going to have a little video that's going to show you exactly what I'm talking about and give you an insight into why this water we're talking about tonight is such a game changer. So sit back and...
When we are thirsty, we fill a glass with tap water or drink some water from a plastic bottle. After all, water is water, right? Magnetized water is popular in Japan. But before we get to know its properties, it is important to understand how and what happens to magnetized water. If you take some water to analyze, you will notice that its molecules are disordered. This is because of the minerals. When submitted to magnetic fields, the molecules turn back into their normal state, which makes the water more beneficial to our health since it heightens the energetic balance of the body and strengthens the immune system in general. That's why magnetized water helps prevent many diseases of the human body. Did you know that more than 70% of our bodies are formed by water? We need to replenish water to eliminate toxins from the body, hydrate tissues and cells, help the kidneys, facilitate blood flow, to fight bloating and boost immunity. Some of the benefits of magnetized water are: helps in nutrition and hydration of cells, aids in cell cleanse, reduces blood acidity and the excess of free radicals in the body, increases the oxygen in cells and blood, makes the hair softer, moisturizes the skin, leaving it soft and healthy, aids in the prevention of many diseases, lowers blood sugar levels, preventing diabetes, helps prevent many types of cancer, reduces the risk of osteoporosis and fractures by increasing the bone density and bone resistance, avoids premature aging, increases energy levels. According to studies published by the National Institutes of Health, USA, drinking magnetized water means more quality of life. If you already knew...
All right. So that is some of the benefits of magnetized water, which I'm sure you will agree with me Just those benefits alone would be worth you wanting to explore and stick to the end of my presentation, right? So what we're going to talk about is this chemical reaction that takes place. So as we all know, water is H2O, and if you don't know now, you know. So super magnetized, which we're talking about charging up your water, magnetizing it, is known as water hydrolysis. So check this out. H2O dissociates and you have OH minus and H plus. This is hydrogen ions and hydrogen ions. I'm going to look at what that compound looks like. So when you have this combination that takes place, right, these atoms, you're going to get clusters, hydrogen ions. And this is not what you want, right? You do not want that, but you get that, all right? So we're going to add something to the mix. Minerals that you may or may not have in your current water, whether you get whatever water supply you have, whether it's filtered, whether you get bottled, whether it's from the tap or whatever, right? We have a combination here on adding minerals, and we're going to see what happens with the hydrogen ions when you add the minerals to the mix. So this form of alkaline hydroxides is calcium and magnesium. When consuming magnetized water, it reduces the body's acidity. Bingo. So all that was talking about at the start of it was how can we reduce the body's acidity? That's one thing. How about the other thing? Free radicals. Well, check this out. You got that cluster that I've spoken about, that breakup. When you drink this water, the hydrogen ions react with the excess free radicals in your body, forming water. So we've now got something that tackles both of them, and it's so straightforward on how you can apply this to your day-to-day life. Okay, so again, we have the free radicals get neutralized. We do not want that. And so the two things we're going to really dive into on tonight's Zoom, because it's such a game changer. Now, question time. Do you know that your body is more than 70% water? Does anybody not know that? I'm sure we may all know that, but if you didn't know, you know, now you know. Our body, our brain, our organs, every part of us is made up of water. So, you know, if we reach for something that's acidic, you know, if we start drinking loads of coffee. I've just went to the coffee shop, and you know, I got a mixture of this drink from Tim Hortons. Now, if that's all I drink majority of the time, and I start to feel headaches and stuff like that, I could reach for something to suppress the headache, and I say, yeah, I got rid of the headache. Or my body's probably telling me, dude, I need some water. My brain, like, your brain's going to try and find water from somewhere. Your body's going to try and find it from somewhere. So if it can't find it externally, it's going to try and find it internally. And that's when we start to have a breakdown on our health. Okay, so we've got a product here, my friends. This is coming from somebody who barely drank enough water. All right, so now I'm some water advocate because of how this product has made such a massive difference, and it tastes absolutely fantastic. So the mere fact is, some of you guys are drinking enough water, but the water you're drinking is maybe not of good quality, right? So again, spending good money, but you're not feeling the benefits. You're drinking, and you're still feeling parched. You still feeling dehydrated. It's not doing what you expected it to do, and it's like, what's going on with me? Well, may not be nothing wrong with you, just maybe something that you may be drinking. Now, let's look at this. It says here, water determines disease, water determines health. Appropriate, adequate water restores health. Ionized water hydrates, alkalizes, antioxidizes, and detoxifies. Water can be used as medicine. Don't know if I've got it in front of me. Probably not to hand. But anyway, this is from Dr. Leo Ribeiro. There's a gentleman I always talk about, always big him up, and I don't get paid for doing it, but I wish I did. This gentleman, they call him Dr. Batman, but he wrote a book called Your Body Many Cries for Water. And I love his work. You can go online, you know, check this all out for yourself. And he talks about what he did and how he treated people who were dehydrated. Yeah. And obviously he was in a situation where he was, I believe it was in Tehran, where he had over 3,000 inmates. So he had literally a captive audience, and they had all sorts of ailments. And what did he do? He treated them with water. I was blown away. What? You're telling me They didn't reach for the pharmaceutical drug. No, water. Okay, and so we know that blew me away. That really showed me the power of water, but I didn't fully understand like what I'm talking to you about now. How water can be different structures and magnetized water. Not all magnetized water is the same, as you're going to soon find out. So again, we spoke about water that does not hydrate against water that does hydrate. Big difference. Imagine this, my friends. If you knew that on the right hand side what's going on for you, right? You knew your cells that were swimming around in blood that looked like that. It was all clammy and dirty and acidic. Rather to on the one on the left where it's full of life. You can see the bubbles at the tank and the tank. So if you spent good money on a fish tank, you wouldn't want it to be looking like the one on the right, right? No, you would be making sure it's got the best of the best. You've spent money on, your fish. You want it the tank when people come around, you're showing off your fish. They can see the fish, right? They're not on their back. They're not like dead to the world. No. So if that was something that you put your money on, and one thing I know about people, when they put some money to something, they spend more attention to it. We didn't necessarily have to pay for our bodies, but we will pay for it if we don't take care of it. You know what I'm saying? It was given to us. It was a gift to us. But if we don't look after it, we are going to have to start paying for it, and we don't want that. We don't want to end up in a place where surrounded by men in white coats, and we want to be out of that. We want to be out like here, lovely streams. Ideally, if you can go to a stream like this, waterfalls. I love being around falls, whether it's not actually falls, but waterfalls. We can be around there where you can see water's live, it's moving. Us as human beings, we should be moving. Decades ago, we wouldn't be sitting in front of our screens, and we would be out doing stuff. That would be the only way that we can even make a living. And now we're blessed to be able to do this all around the world from the comfort of our homes and stuff. But now we've got another problem, is that we're not moving enough. You know what I mean? Kids aren't moving enough. Adults are not moving enough. We don't need to do that heavy labor that we used to do, and the foods we're eating are not getting broken down. So we want to have this, and obviously I'm not going to suggest to you anytime you want to get good water, go to a spring somewhere and top it up. That's highly impractical. But I'm going to give you something that you can have in your household that every single one of us has the ability to have because of this company. Okay, so let's have a look at that. This gentleman here is going to, again, 2-minute video. He's going to go into what this company does and how you can see that whole chemical reaction we spoke about, so you get a really fully better understanding of what magnetized water is all about. So again, sit back, relax.
First, the water that most people drink has lost its original structural characteristics from when it was alive in nature. In springs, streams, and rivers, water is constantly moving. This favors its oxygenation, in addition to its structure being composed of small molecules, which increases its hydration power in the body. When water is stored or kept in containers, its surface tension is altered. Thus it becomes much heavier, with the formation of large molecule clusters, which are completely disorganized and lose oxygen. This molecular change compromises the penetration of water into cells that form organ tissues. But the original characteristics of water, so necessary for a good cellular hydration, can be restored. This is where magnetic treatment comes in. When water is subjected to a magnetic field, an event called hydrolysis occurs, which means breaking up of water. That is, the movement caused by the molecules causes a rupture of the clusters and promotes rearrangement into much smaller structures. Thus, these H2O molecules penetrate the cells much more easily, promoting better cellular hydration and cleaning. The second point observed in the various studies carried out with magnetized water is that it contributes to a reduction of excess of free radicals. How does this happen? When water undergoes magnetic treatment, there is an ionic dissociation, that is, the H2O water molecule formed by 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom breaks up, releasing hydroxyl ions and hydrogen ions. Excess free radicals that are present in the body are negative ions, and they combine with hydrogen ions, forming new H2O molecules, thus removing them from the body. This is a very simple chemical equation that has been observed by several researchers. The third point is about the contribution to the maintenance of blood alkalinity, helping the mechanisms of our body. In hydrolysis, as we have seen, there are negative hydroxyl ions left over. This hydroxyl reacts with magnesium and calcium ions present in vital environments of our body, forming alkaline hydroxyls, in this case magnesium and calcium hydroxyls. These reactions help in the maintenance of blood pH and oxygen content. It is for all these reasons that water treated magnetically helps in the maintenance of good health.
Here you go. All right, my friend. Hope you got that. He's talking about that whole breakdown of what takes place when you have that reaction taking place with water. So let's look at that in a bit more detail. So your cell looks like this. Say hello to your cells. And you want to have the three things we were, banging on about is, nutrition, nutrients going into your cell, hydrogen, oxygen. We want it to be hydrated by any means necessary, my friends. We need to take care of ourselves. Now, this happens, and this is just with water, okay? So people are spending good money on all sorts of stuff, right, to get better health. And I'm sure, you guys on the call are in the same manner. If you're buying something, you want a good quality product, so you take it and it gives you the desired results. But what if the water that you're drinking, that you have to take with that product, is not of good quality? Or it may be of good quality, but it's giving you this result. So water without magnetic treatment, okay, hard water full of clusters, we're going to see what happens. This is your cell, and when you start to drink, if it's all clustered together, like I mentioned, then the water is not going to be able to penetrate into the cells. All right, so at best, partial penetration of the cell. That's what happens when water does not hydrate. Now, what happens when you zap it with magnetic treatment? You get this situation. Before I came to London a couple of months back, I kept hearing about this company, and it was January when I first came across it. My friend Glenn shared this with me, and he was telling me about it. And then I heard people trying the product, and they were talking about how it's light and better absorbing. And I'm like, really? I'm like, if that can get me to drink more water, then tick the box. And then whatever it does for me afterwards. And some of you, when we get to the testimonials part, I'll talk about what it actually did for me. But if it did that, if it allowed me to drink more water, because I definitely wasn't drinking enough, and your body tells you, right? If your eyes are yellow and your pee's yellow, guess what? There's probably a problem, right? And definitely mine was more Lucozade than it should be, right? So the magnetizing breakdown or breakup of the clusters, decreasing water hardness, is what this product does, promoting hydration and total nutrition of cells. That's what happened when water hydrates. So you see the difference between that and the water that does that's been magnetized, supercharged, as I say. Okay, and it's easy to do with this product. We're talking about the benefits here of alkalizing the blood, reducing excess free radicals, improving oxygenation. And some people say to me, "Hey, Leroy, what? I've got this. I've got gallbladder stone, this, and I've got that." And I said, "Dude, you know what? It doesn't matter what you got. You need to be hydrated. Your cells need to be hydrated. And at the end of the day, if it, as a result of you taking this, you notice X, Y, Z happening for you, then guess what? Then it's all good, right? It's done. It's going to help your body and help your cells. So that is a key fundamental thing that we're dealing with here. We're not here to make health claims and say you're going to start doing backflips and all sorts of stuff, right? If you do, great. But give yourselves what it needs in the first instance in order for you to go on and even if you mash up yourself, then at least this product will help you. Trust me, because it does help with pain relief. So we're talking about this company and this product which I'm going to introduce you to, called Timol. This has been technically recognized internationally, and we're talking about something that you can look up, research yourself, and see for yourself. Have your own results and be your own testimonial, as you say. I heard so many people from across the pond telling me how good this product was. Now, I could have just kept listening, do all the research till I'm blue in the face, which is not a good look, and nothing would change for me until I tried it myself. And so that's what I recommend you to do. Try the product if you can, and then you'll see for yourself. You know, get the product, Primo, and that will be the game changer. Because once you have it for yourself, you'll start to see what I'm talking about. So it's not just me talking about it, or the person who's invited you on this call talked about it. The World Health Organization. You say who? Yeah, exactly. The World Health Organization. That officially declares the recognition of the suitability of the Brazilian company Timol Ltda as the only one complying with the standards and requirements of this institution of adopting a system or method of magnetic water treatment or correction as a system or method of health protection and recovery with scientifically proven efficiency. So not just, not take my word for it, it works. No, this is actually being recognized. And this was 10 years after the company launched, guys. This company is not on trial. Their products are not on trial. They've got thousands of people around the world using it. Even if you never heard of it, I never heard of this company until this year, but they've been going since 2004, mainly in Brazil. You're gonna, she will see who the man's behind all this that made this happen in the first place. So this product here, Silosimol, this is a combination of two products. I call this my dynamic duo. Yeah, I call this my Batman and Robin. You got the magnet in blue on the left hand side, and then you got the minerals on the right hand side. Right? So M&M, minerals and magnet. And when you add these two together, my friends, it's going to supercharge your water. You're going to feel like a superhero when you drink this water. Am I making any claims here? Maybe. But it's going to supercharge your water, right? It's going to make you feel good. Well, all I'll say is it made me feel really good and made my body feel even gooder, if that's a word. So we're going to be talking about how you can super magnetize and mineralize your water with this product. So what I love about this, my friends, is that it's as cheap as chips. I couldn't even get the words out because I was going to say it's as cheap as chips. It's probably the cheapest thing on the planet, and it absolutely is. You're going to buy this product. When you do, see how I'm projecting on you. You're going to buy this product, and when you get this product, you're not going to need to buy anything else, replace it for years down the road. The magnet in itself will last you 30 years. So add 30 years to where we are right now, 2026, and put that on your calendar. Okay, I need to replace my magnet in 30 years time. And then you look at the minerals, 3 years. And some people say, oh, if you treat it well, it may last up to 4 or 5 years. Hey, who cares? 3 years, right? 3 years. So we're not talking about a product you need to buy next month, next week, next year. No, you buy it once, and all you need to do and set your calendar 3 years from now, you'll see the minerals, because it's an actual stone that has the minerals in it, and you add it together. So what's the effects on that? Why are we so excited about this product? Because the alkalization that takes place in our body and our blood, and I've seen it for myself, increasing bone mineral mass. As people age, as they get older, and one thing we don't want is our elderly to drop, okay? Because of the fact, if they drop on the floor, and we know it happens all the time, especially over here where we get a lot of snow, and last thing we want is our loved ones to drop. You know, I had family members who dropped in the snow, and some people, unfortunately in our church, they dropped and they broke their leg. And when you're up in age, that's the last thing you want to have happen. So healing, we've heard countless stories on how this product has helped people with healing with their bone mineral mass, because as we get older, osteoporosis is something that we do not want to have happen, but it goes with the territory, unfortunately, because our bone mineral mass starts to decrease. This helps it increase. And I'm telling you, for somebody in my 50s, how I feel so good in my body now, and I didn't at the start of the year. Like it's literally a complete different 180 because of this product. Increase in blood oxygenation and increase in minerals in the water by top H plus. So the green one is the top H plus, and Silosimol is the magnet. Okay, so we're going to be hearing some testimonials from people who have used this to amazing effect. So let's check this out. This is something that you can take with you. All right. It doesn't need to be confined to your household, but this product, the mega one, is that will treat up to 20 liters of water. So you can treat it, you can share it with your friends. In fact, what I do with people that are, close to my facility that I can get to easily, I give them a sample. And you may hear from a friend of mine who struggles to get onto these Zooms, but if you can make it, I want her to share her story on what happened just through taking this. I've had people come back to me within 24 hours and even less in some instances. Now, is it the case for everybody? No. I say when you try anything, you introduce anything different, new to your body, give yourself chance for you to fully benefit from it. Give yourself 90 days for you to benefit from the product before you start seeing something. But I tell you what, this is a high impact product. I myself, countless of others have seen results in a short period of time. So you can take, if you go to the gym a lot, take that with you, top it up when you're at the gym, and leave it to, do its thing and start drinking it. People ask you, what are you drinking? And then great, opens up a door of conversation. Have it at home, have it in a jar. I mean, I can't wait till I see this. I really want to see somebody else on the street drinking and seeing that in there. That's when I know we've had some market penetration. Until you see that, we need to do a bigger job spreading the word about this amazing product. So go online, do a search for Timol on YouTube. You may see a lot of this testimonials in Portuguese because the company was for 18 years just in Brazil. And thanks to Simone, who may not be on this call right now, but she was, been involved with the company for years now, has a powerful product story about just younger looking skin, let alone her own self and her family members who were battling the things we're talking about, early aging, cancer issues, things, menstrual cycle issues, pain relief. So many, guys. The testimonials are immense. And so, we're building up a library of that in English speaking testimonials. And this is just awesome. So this is the gentleman I really want to fly over to Brazil one day soon and shake this man's hand. Many things I love about Brazil, but this gentleman here and what he's done, this company he's created, has been absolutely life-changing, my friends. So he had this vision many years ago, and he formed this company in 2004, sold things to make it happen, right? He became, he'd done well for himself anyway in the first instance. So he had that conviction that he is going to bring this to the market. So his goal was to provide health and quality of life for people through high quality water that truly hydrates. So this is a gentleman. Think about this, guys. 2004. And we've got people that have been on this company, we've been with this company, have used this product for years, and their testimonial has been absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible, right? And so over 2 decades, which is why I said this company is not on trial. You may not have heard of them, I may not have heard of them, but they are definitely a established company. They got, like I said, 12 years ago, they got the award for their certification of what they were doing out there. And we've had a chance to meet his daughter online and, his son-in-law, that, they're involved in the company. It's like that legacy is continuing. And so the ripple effect that this company is having now is immense. So again, over 22 years now in the market, you can go online, go to Google Scholar, and you can look at some articles. If you want to, find out a bit more about the research, you can go online and look up the power of magnetized water just in itself, let alone what this company is doing to the game. Because obviously we're not the only company that's doing magnetized water. But just like all water isn't the same, do not mistake all magnetized water companies to be the same, because they're not. Okay, as you can clearly see, what we have here is a game changer. So certification there, you can check out. And again, we're more than 20 countries around the world. Again, people who have taken this product in different parts of the country, outside of here, in Africa and different markets that are not even listed on here, because people want the benefits of this product. Okay, and it's a product that we can send to people. Take it on the plane with you. Somebody asked me when I was traveling, oh, did you stop? Did they stop you? Stop me for what? It's in my water bottle. I just top up my water and I continue drinking. It's the best thing. Saved me so much money on those sugary drinks that I normally like. Now and then, anyway, now and then. So this, I mentioned again, psilocybin is not intended to cure disease, but rather to magnetize water. Magnetized water will be an adjunct into health treatment and will improve your quality of life by reducing what? Acidity and free radicals in the body. Yes, the two things that we started off the meeting about, it does what it says on the tin. So with that, my friends, we're going to just pause the slide for a sec. I'm going to see if anybody wants to share their own experience through being on the product. If you've got anything that you want to raise your hand and say, oh, I want to share, this is what I noticed from taking the product or whatever, just put your hand up. Let's see who you are. We can put you on the call, put the spotlight on you. And before we go there, or while whoever's going to come on, I'm going to show you this book here, Your Body's Many Cries for Water. Like I said, if I got paid for every time I advertise this, I would be a rich man. And it's revolutionary, way of thinking about water. And so we've got something here, like I said, there's so much validation as to how much water, what the desired results. But if you don't like water, if you don't like the taste of it, and we've had so many people now who've tried this water because it's been magnetized, and they're like, people don't drink water normally, a decent amount, and they're going back for seconds. And I'm like, wow, we know we've got something pretty good on our hands, right? So again, if anybody wants to come on down and share, I'm going to just talk about what happened for me when I got involved in this. I got involved in February. This has been 2 months. And one of my primary reasons, I told you, I wasn't drinking enough water. I knew I needed to drink more. And guys, after drinking enough water, the adequate amount of water now because of this, I noticed within a few days of being in the UK that this pain I had, now up until I hit 50s, I can probably say without a shadow of a doubt, I wasn't having any pain issues, sciatica pain related issues, hip issues, none of that. I was like, good. And then my 50s hit and it was like, boom, everything was waiting for me. And then I started to get all these pains, being to the chiropractor, going to physio, the lot, having scans done, because I had this. Even though the sciatica pain went eventually, I had this pain in my hip. And every now and then, it would just like literally kick in and hold me, And the other thing I can think of is the fact that there was something in my bones or something in that area, but they couldn't put their finger on it. I couldn't either. I start drinking this water. All I can tell you is I've not experienced that pain since. Now, do I notice there? Yeah, now and then I notice it's there. But man alive, I'm feeling so good, like literally night and day. And then I just say what happened yesterday. Yesterday, while I was sleeping, when I was getting up, my other leg started to play up, and I'm like, what the devil is this? And it was like, again, it was like that sciatica pain. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but that pain is not a pain you want. It's like horrible, and it's like, man, that pain just shot down my leg, and I don't know what was going on. Anyway. From the afternoon, I start drinking my water, and it's like I had something that I can do. I was actually thinking, man, if the if the chiropractor was open now, it was a Sunday, I would go straight away, and I didn't have that option, besides prayer and my water, and I'm telling you. I'm feeling great again. So I don't know, but I just felt really empowered knowing that I had something. I know in the morning you needed to drink my fluids. I drank my fluids and stuff like that, and as the day went on, I was good. I even was running to the coffee store not too long ago. So it's definitely something amazing. So okay, I don't see anybody putting their hands up or anything. I'm going to go back to the slides real quick, and then we want to go into the money side of things tonight. I'm going to touch base on how you can position yourself financially if that is your sole desire. All right, so let me show you some amazing testimonies, guys. When I saw this again, I heard these testimonies from January until February when I had a chance to get the product for myself. And I heard these stories, and I saw this, and I was like, man, this is crazy. And I do have this video in Portuguese, and again, skin issues. This I was like, wow, it's not just okay. I'm going to hydrate myself and I get rid of some pain. No, the skin issues, like that was blind blowing. This one again, this guy, I'm like, wow, the before and afters, and I've got more pictures of this guy, and it's just like, wow, unbelievable. Like how his skin got way better after using this. This is a gentleman here who's probably, I think, one of the biggest marketers of the product. And you've got a gentleman there who had a situation, I believe, I'm not 100% sure of this one, I believe he was diabetic, and there was a picture of showing and it's actually on a video, showing what his foot looked like, his leg looked like prior to taking the product. Okay, and then this one here, and I've got a shorter version. I will be playing it at one point, but let me just bring this straight forward. So, this showed what his foot looked like. All right, again, this is in Portuguese, and unfortunately, one of my aunties had her leg amputated, and when you're up in age, that's the last thing you don't really want it at any age, but when you got a bit more strength about you, there's things can be done. But when she was unfortunately diabetic, stepped on something, and her foot was nowhere as bad as this guy's. This guy's foot was terrible, and you can see there and how this product saved him from having amputation taking place. He was scheduled to have his foot amputated, maybe even his leg amputated, but definitely his foot. And so for that situation to be turned around, I'm like, oh my goodness, if I knew about this back then, it may have saved my auntie's foot. Who knows? All right. But all we can do, guys, is going forward. Now we know this information, we can prevent so many other people maybe having to experience something so traumatic as losing a body part. Nobody wants to lose a body part, no matter how much you want to give to somebody. Take one of your fingers for your $1 million. No, nobody wants that, right? So we don't want to be in that situation. So again, if we can prevent it, it's the best thing. And so let me just show you what his foot looked like at the end. Start to clean up and heal. Just incredible, absolutely incredible. So guys, it's not just us humans, pets that you have as they age, especially they need this, right? They drinking water, maybe people putting water, different types of water there, they need this, right? So again, when we actually have a kind of dedicated product for them as well. Plants, farmers who have increased produce, they've got now more produce through putting this in their soil. So if you know any farmers, people who are into agriculture, and they can get more for their buck with this product, oh my goodness, so obviously this is more of an industrial product, and they've noticed they had increased crops. Their cows were producing more milk. I mean, come on, this is for real. This is serious stuff here, guys. So we're talking about literally transforming your life from the inside out. So one thing for sure, we want to be in a situation where we can have better choices, make better choices, I would say, especially around our health. I mean, without our health, all the other problems that you might have that you thought was important, they start to lose their importancy once your health starts to decline, and you're like, you know what, it's a life or death thing. Those things don't even matter anymore. The things you thought were important, they don't matter so much. So we were talking about health, we're talking about freedom, okay? We're talking about an opportunity for growth here. I want to just stop this share real quick, and we're going to be talking a bit about money. And I've always been interested in money from the time I really started to work at actually was when I was working at Goldman Sachs. I really started to get an interest because it started to introduce me to like these guys who were on the dealing floor, and they were making a lot of money, and some of them were at the expense of their health because they were at it for hours, and so that really fascinated me, and I've always been interested in it. But we're going to be talking about money in a minute, and if anyone's got any questions, feel free to post it in the chat, and we can deal with it. at that point. And but you know, if you're, and again, if you're not interested in how making extra money, extra income, you know, just get back to whoever invited you on the call. If you've got any questions about how to move forward, they'd be able to steer you in the right direction. But I wanted to this book here, The Psychology of Money. Don't know if you can see the title properly. The Psychology of Money, and it's a really good book. Sold over 1 million copies, and he talks about different things in here. But just as I was picking up the book, I just wanted to show you something. I just literally landed on this this section here, which talked about freedom, as we spoke about, as I just spoke about. Timol gives you the health, more freedom. Like I said, you know, if you're getting older, you want to be having money to, you know, sustain you. We know we are in really, really challenging financial times, without a doubt. So it says here, controlling your time is the highest dividend money pays. So I just want to read this before we go into how you can make some additional money with us. It says here, the highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up every morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. People want to become wealthier to make them happier. Happiness is a complicated subject because everybody's different, but there is a common denominator in happiness, a universal fuel of joy, is that people want to control their lives. The ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want, is priceless. It is the highest dividend money pays. And for sure, my friends, this is the reason why I got interested in this whole home-based industry in the first place, because I wanted to be that guy who can do what he wants, when he wants, with whoever he wants, and have that time and money freedom together. You want to have the two. It's no good having money, but you're strapped to a job that you cannot get away from, or strapped to a business that if you don't show up, the business folds. You do not want to be in that situation, and so many people are, and they're stressed and the whole nine. If you can't find that balance, doing something that you love, you enjoy, and it pays you on top, it's not a job, is it? It's not. You don't even think about it as business. What we're doing here today, I would freely do it, even if there was no money involved in this. I would freely tell people about this company. Just happens they pay you as well. So with that said, I'm going to touch on how you can make some additional income, my friend, if that's what you desire. And so we get results with this product, and as a result of that, we get people interested in maybe joining us and locking arms on what we're doing, right? And how they can tap into this themselves. So we're going to talk about why, you know, why this. So many reasons, but I'm going to give you at least 6 reasons that how this company pays you, why you want to consider this as a business, as a part-time gig, and maybe, you know, if you so desire, making it into more than that. But with a business that's got a great product, we got a great way, an avenue to talk to people, to share this. Health, everybody drinks water. I don't know any product that is as vibrant, as accessible as water. I mean, if we can sell air, because there's so much pollution going on, that will be the next product that we can make money from, right? But water, you cannot live without water. You can live without many other things. Some people think they can't. Without their cell phone, they think they die. No, you can live without many things, but your body cannot live without water. As we said, the body is over 70% water. So magnetized water is essential for our health. I'm sure that's not on the debate, you know, and everybody needs it, and a product of prime necessity. I can't think of anything better to have a product that helps you store your health, feel hydrated, and they actually pay you for doing that. Unbelievable. So this is the ideal business model. You're going to have 2 aspects here. Those of you who want to share this with your friends and family, you've got people in different parts of around the world. They'll say, you know what? Oh my goodness, this person will be amazing at this. We're not necessarily looking for salespeople. We're not looking for people who can, you know, sell snow to Eskimos. We're just looking for everyday people who just want more, want to do more. They want to, you know, impact somebody else's life, and or just make an extra few $100s a month just to make ends meet, right? Or you've got people who are that way inclined, and they're good. They like meeting people. They like doing the whole sales thing. So you're going to have that aspect as well. So people don't want to sell the product, and people who just want to, you know, have a network of people, like-minded individuals, they can go on this journey with them. So that's the first way. The team building, referrals. You know, every business out there has some kind of referral scheme, and this is no different. So we're going to show you again. I'm going to run through this fairly quickly. If you want a, you know, more detailed presentation on this, whoever's invited you on can go through, or we can schedule something on that basis. I don't want to overwhelm you with numbers and stuff tonight, because most of it won't land. You won't retain it. So traditional business, and why marketing this way, you know, through word of mouth, is the most powerful form of advertising money can buy. So traditional business, as we know, you have the industry, the wholesaler, the distribution method, the supermarket, the consumer. I mean, guys, when I buy my water, I buy these 15-liter water bottles, and the, you know, it's slightly getting better, but most of the time when I get it, the dirt that's on it, I'm thinking, how long, where has it been sitting, and how long for? By the time I buy it from the supermarket, right? It's been going through this person's hand, that person's. Everybody's getting a piece of the action, right? So the way our model works is direct marketing. We direct to the customer. So we deal directly. We're the middleman, middlewoman. We go directly to the company deals with us, and then our customers deal with us internally. So it's very straightforward. And as a result of that, we pocket the advertising dollars. The company doesn't need to spend 100,000 on a billboard that people are just going to look by. No, you get rewarded because of your introduction, your personal relationship with your friends, your family. Who knows them better than you, right? So the company rewards you because you've made that introduction to the company. Now I'm just going to give you some basic numbers, and you know, you can put your own numbers in here, but I'm going to show you a very straightforward model. If you want to make money from this company, that what you can do on your own terms, okay? Whether you're working during the day, working in the evening, with your student, whether you've got your own business, your own whatever, you can do this, okay? And we're talking about sharing it with 2 people a day, not every day. We're going to give yourself the weekends off, and no, you know, not you having to do a presentation where you're inviting people onto a Zoom, and no, none of that, right? You're just sharing information. So it could be a short video on what Timol is all about, what Timol is about. Could be a product testimonial, could be a health test, you could be whatever, right? You're sharing some information, and you do it twice for the day. Do it in the morning, a few minutes on a couple of minutes on a call, and in the evening, and then you're done. You get on with whatever you're doing. So you could fit this in however way you want. Now, I'm just going to give you the example on the big product. If you was to retail the big product, this is income stream number 1. If you're going to retail the big product, we have the mini and the mega combo. If after you do certain amount of purchase, you know, you're buying the product because you've got your customers who are buying the product from you. After 5 purchases, you are now making around €180 per product. So whatever that is in pounds, whatever that is in US dollars or Canadian, whatever, you work that out. Okay. In fact, there's different, based on the market you're in, there's actually different price, slightly different price points. So, but I'm talking to you guys if you're in Europe, the UK, primarily. You do this and you sold 1 out of the people that you know, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, and as a result of that, you sell 1 a week, and boom. For that whole month, you sold 4 of these combos, and you're gonna make €720. Okay, I don't know, it's about 500 quids thereabouts, right? So only you know what that money will be used for. Okay, and you know, you say, oh, that extra 500 has allowed me to do this. I could take my kids out and do this, or I can actually buy this, or put down money on something that I wasn't able to do before. Now, if you get a bit more sales as a result, and let's say 3 per week, that ends up being €2,160, my friends. That's serious money, right? Part-time, spare time, anytime. You're making an extra $2,000 because you sold 3 a week. And now, if you really went for it and you ended up doing 5 in a week, and this is, again, this one here is retail sales. So this is more sales kind of thing, which you've got access to. And you did 5 of those, and you're making over 3,000 guys, 3,600. That's serious money here. We're talking about paying off something, maybe the paying for your car note or your mortgage note or whatever, your rent. This could be some serious replacement money or giving you some options. Yeah. So this is just one way. Let's say you start to share this, people out who want to come on board and do what you're doing, like sharing this and getting the benefits of buying the product at wholesale and selling it at retail. And guys, the markup is good. So maybe something that your friends want to do. If they introduce somebody and they come on what we call silver, they get the big product, the mega combo product in that product, and actually you earn €80 as a result of that. Somebody comes on board and wants to do the gold package, which gets us the big one and the small one. You earn €160, and somebody upgrades to the platinum, that's 322. Somebody can come in at whatever level they're comfortable with. They come in at silver level, they upgrade themselves to the gold and upgrade to the platinum. You can do that, and again, there's more money as you grow. And this is a quick start bonus. So as somebody joins, this is actually this slide is actually in Brazilian reais, but we're talking about maybe $30 as a fast start bonus. This is people that you didn't necessarily introduce. This is an indirect bonus, people that they introduced, but you get paid on that because you started the conversation. You introduced them and then they went on and introduced. This is where you start to get income that has nothing to personally do with you, but now you're benefiting from that methodology. There's other bonuses here as you progress. And let's say you introduced at least 3 people. What I love about this bonus, my friends, is that a lot of companies, they want you to constantly, invite in and enroll. Now, by default, you probably will anyway, because you're on fire, you love this product, you've got more testimonials, you've got more conviction. But they're saying at least 3 active people, okay? You can go from what we call a leader all the way to black diamond. And most companies will cut your pay because you haven't got at least 3 personals. And we recommend having at least 6, just like in your car, you want to have a spare tire just in case. Same way here. But yeah, 3 will do it. But don't make the minimums your maximum. And then we have a binary bonus. So binary is how we build our infrastructure. We have a team on the left, team on the right. And you could bring somebody in who's just a rock star. We've got several of them on the call right now. And they come in and they start sharing it. And it's like, wow. Now all of a sudden you've got these bonuses coming in because you initially shared it with somebody. So again, let's say €36 for somebody who's joining the business, and you're getting a piece of that. And as the business grows, guys, and it may think, oh, €36, what can that do? You multiply that by the amount of people now that are in levels. As the network gets deeper, you're now earning a bonus. And there's a uni-level bonus, which again is direct people that you personally introduce to the business. Now, the uni-level bonus on the product, when somebody sells, and every month for them to, in business, they're going to be buying at least 1 product. This is a franchise model, my friends, where you do not have, when you become a franchisee with us, we're not talking about you having to pay a franchise fee every month, every year to be active. No, you pay that fee and it's one-time fee. If you ever, and there was a franchise show in the UK this weekend, guys, I'm telling you, we're going to talk of numbers and you're going to be like, what is that? Some of you are going to say, is that all compared to what a franchise is? If you've ever looked at what a franchise and how much thousands you're going to need, sometimes people have to get collateral as a way to get themselves in business. We're not talking about you having to do any of that here. Okay, so this again is it's a simulation of if somebody was to order a product every month for their business, which they, for them to get all the benefits of being in business, you're going to earn a piece of that action. Okay, and then as it grows, you earn. So you might be thinking, oh, a couple of dollars a month for 1 product. Yeah, what happens now when you get 250 odd people? That's an extra €500. What happens when that now mushrooms into over 1,000 people? That's now over $2,000. So you've got the upfront money I mentioned. You've got the binary bonuses. You've got this income coming in. You're now seeing these different pockets of income, money coming in, and you're like, wow, this is actually really more money than I anticipated. It'll cover more than just my rent or whatever. It could do a lot more. Okay, so you want to be in business, for yourself, but not by yourself. Okay, this is where we come in. You're not alone here. You have the person who's introduced this to you. You say, I want to be part of this. There's a franchise fee, €840, which is the first level, the silver level. That one I mentioned, it gives you the mega product. You get the gold one, gives you the mini and the mega, and the platinum gives you both. But as you progress and go higher up in the company with these packages, they give you more earning capacity in the network, in the back office. So this is why people are not just sticking at silver. Once they start to make some money, and it's just business, guys. The moment you start making money, you don't want to just let me just go and buy this and buy that. Feed your business, put that back in your business, so your business grows even more. You make more money for the same action you did when you first started, but now you're making more money because now you fed yourself, and now that silver is now a gold membership, and now that gold is now a platinum membership, and now you're earning at the highest possible level in the company. Now this company has a point system where those points can be converted into prizes or cash based on location. Some people have won cars as a result of those points. They've walked away with laptops and phones and things of that nature, trips. So we do have like more of like a career plan. If you want to go from where you are, making a couple of sales here and there, to actually really taking this on board, setting yourself up, and running this as a business. As you say, with anything in life, you take things seriously, you'll get serious results. You take things as a hobby, then you're going to get hobby income. Okay, that's just down to you and what you would want to get from this. But with that, my friends, I thank you so much for your time today and your attention. We're just over the hour mark, so we did pretty well on that front. Any last questions or anything that anybody wants, please put in the chat or raise your hands, and we will close out from there. Let me just stop this share. Guys, we do this every Monday and Thursday at this particular time. But I am gonna say the next meeting Thursday coming, I'm looking to do it an hour later. Okay, at 9 o'clock UK time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. So hopefully that works for y'all. Augusta, do you have something you want to say, or feel free to close out the meeting? Or you're good? I can't hear you. You're good? Okay, you're good. All right, guys. So thanks very much for your time. I will get this recording out in the channels as soon as possible. And I look forward to catching you guys on our next Zoom. Take care. God bless. Have a fantastic rest of your week.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Thanks, Leroy.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.